No, it's very rare for someone to actually be doing what it is that they wanted to do when they were a kid.
It is, and I just sort of came back to it. I guess I didn't plan it. I didn't say I'm going to work in tech for 10 years and then I'm going to be an actor. It just happened, I guess.
Now, what about public speaking? Do you ever get nervous before you speak in public, or does the acting?
I have horrible stage fright. Horrible stage fright.
No.
I don't like to do public. I'll do workshops and stuff like that. I just did a workshop at APAC, the audiobook conference with Johnny Heller and such and other people. But that was one of my Achilles heels with actually working in theater, live theater, just horrible stage fright.
How do you get past
something
it?
you get on stage and you're fine. But it's 30 seconds before where you've got sweaty palms and then, you just get on stage and you're fine. You want to be backstage with me.
No, I would not want to be backstage with you. Goodness gracious, wow.
I can't believe I just said that on the air. That's great.
So next on my list, let's move forward. Who would you most like to have dinner with? Anyone in the world.
Oh my God, I don't know.
I know, it's tough.
That is a hard question.
Yes, because how do you pick the person that you choose?
Well, I'd have to say Orson Welles.
Orson Welles. Oh.
Orson Welles, totally random.
That's a good
Because
choice, though.
My favorite movie, simply from the technical aspects, was Citizen Kane. Because it's the foundational movie that all other movies are based on. But I don't know. Orson Welles was such a weirdo that I'm afraid the dinner might not go according to plan. I just have no idea. He'd probably be drunk. I have no idea. Great. Now the Orson Welles estate's going to sue me for slander. That's great.
There's nothing wrong with a little alcohol during a hypothetical dinner.
My answer to that always goes back to filmmakers, and I don't know why. I mean, I'd love to have dinner with Steven Spielberg or George Lucas. Just because I come from film. I went to film school, so I love movies. So I always want to go and talk to them because they can talk to me about acting as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Somebody like Ron Howard, who was a great director and was an actor. I mean, being able to pick his brain for an hour over dinner. I mean, you can't buy that.
Now, do you have producers or any employees that you work with, or is it mainly just you?
I farm out my editing and proofing, so I plug them, Amanda Rose Smith and Jesse Ariano of 7 Star Audio. Again, it's a time management thing. I pay them a certain amount. I get paid more for narrating than I do sitting around editing, so I farm out that work, and they're much better at it than I am.
Now,
That's where this expertise thing comes in.
Exactly. Now, how did you find the people that you were going to work with? Was there a process that you went through to find the right people to work with?
This is where Facebook comes in handy. These people are pretty active on Facebook, and I looked at their stuff. A lot of it came from word of mouth. I know that Amanda Rose Smith, she works with another narrator friend, and he has glowing recommendations. She's also a composer, so she's very into audio in general. And Jesse Ariano used to work for Dion Audio, which is a big producer out here in LA. So I know he was trained well.
Now, how do you stay inspired? Because I know you work a lot.
I do work a lot. And this is bad, but money is a great inspiration.
That is not bad. That is not bad at all.
Coming from the 9-to-5 world, I knew I was lacking, but once you work for yourself, you have a different appreciation. The more you work when you work for a company, the less you get paid. If I work 16 hours, I still get paid the same amount. And believe me, I was working those hours testing video games. Now, the more I work, the more I get paid. So, I work 8 to 10 hours a day, but I'm getting paid for all of that time I'm in the booth. Yeah. Or doing something like Audiobook Blast, where people are paying me to advertise their books. So, the more I work, the more money that comes in. And living in LA is not cheap, so you got to keep it flowing.
Now, if you had a piece of advice that you could give to someone that was just starting out, what would that be?
Take acting classes. It's not about having a good voice. Any voiceover work is never about having a good voice. It's about being able to act. It's about being able to connect with a copy. It's about being able to bring characters to life and knowing how to read subtext and all this other actory stuff. You got to know how to do that. You got to be able to talk to other people who are doing it. So take some acting classes. And you can find them anywhere, any place you live. I don't care if you live in Podunk, East for whatever. You can find acting classes, whether it be community college or community theater or what have you. There's acting classes everywhere.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, we have a few people that we work with and they'll narrate and we produce. Well, all right, I don't produce. Famous Dave produces. He does all that jazz. But so Famous Dave was looking at different talents, right? People that had really good voices. And I remember one guy in particular who just, Famous Dave says, oh, his voice is fantastic. His voice is amazing. We should use this voice. And then we get him in the studio and we give him a script and it's entirely monotone and it's all said exactly like this. And he's like rushing through everything. And I'm like, look, dude, just breathe. I spent like 20 minutes. I was like, come on. I think I even tried getting him drunk. And there was nothing. You couldn't get the guy to loosen up in front of the microphone. So being able to have a good voice is that's not all there is to it. There's so much more.
I don't have the stereotypical good voice. I mean, it's kind of nasally and pinched. So, it's about being able to act and tell the story. And there's a certain place for, having really great pipes, promo people coming up next on blah, blah, blah. That's about having a good voice and being able to act. But really, a lot of that is about having a good voice. Audiobooks, no, absolutely not.
Now, what is your favorite book? It doesn't have to be one that you've narrated.
My favorite book ever is probably Flowers for Algernon and The Chocolate War by Robert Cormier. Both I read when I was in junior high and really stuck with me. Or Boy's Life by Robert McCammon.
I have a feeling that if I give you more time on this, you're going to keep coming up with books.
I'm sorry. Are we in a time limit here? Are we going to go to like 9 segments?
No, I mean, I was like one, and you're like, okay, well, I like this one, and I like this one, and then there's this one.
Fine. Flowers for Algernon. Next question.
Actually, that was my last one. So I was going to kind of wrap it up a little bit and say it's been really fantastic chatting with you, and you've got this new project that you're working on called Audiobook Blast, and it's audiobookblast.com, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about that.
Well, quickly, because I took the hint, there's not a whole lot of mechanisms to promote audiobooks. So this allows authors to get their audiobook and give it away for review copies in front of, at this point, over 1,000 eager audiobook listeners. And it goes out every Tuesday. So listeners, if you like audiobooks, sign up at audiobookblast.com. And authors, if you want to promote your book to them, go to the same place, audiobookblast.com.
I think it's important to mention at this point that it's not spam and you're not paying for these copies of the book. If you're a listener, you're not paying. You actually get like a list of books that you can potentially review for free.
Yep.
And then you get a copy of the book sent to you so that you can listen to and just pop out a review for. So Jeffrey Kafer, I want to thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, and best of luck to you in everything that you do in the future. The Angel Clark Show will return.
If you want bling bling, if you want to buy the jets, if you